sounds good.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking around, for you brave folks that have been waiting for us to figure out how to get this rolling once again here. So we do have, once again, Consort back with me here, and we're going to be casting a replay here. Regen versus Wasted Potential out of the B East Division, and we do have the replay set and ready to go. So if you guys will excuse us, we're going to synchronize our starts here. So let's go ahead and get this started. Consort in 3, 2, 1, go.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
All right.
And that is the sound we like to hear. We are preparing for battle. So of course, with the replays, we do not have the exact drafts to show you guys, but you of course can see all of the information, all of the heroes. And we are going to get these introduced here on Infernal Shrines. First, on the left, Regen with So Lucky on the Genji. Frost Absol is going to be on the Stukov. Murda is going to be on the Dahaka. Danks is going to be on the Kerrigan. And Rising Star on the Arthas.
And on the right side for Wasted Potential, we have Nathan on Kael'thas, Boone on Zul, Hope on Greymane, Geo on Malfurion, and Zengaju on a Nubarak.
I'm actually now remembering that I forgot to broadcast this out to the world, so while we're watching the mid-fight here, I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick.
Yep, and we've got the classic 5-man engage in mid, Dahaka top soaking instead, so 4v5 on the side of Regen here, and we're going to start seeing rotations down. Classic opener, Greymane versus Dahaka in the top lane. Should be an interesting solo lane, mostly in favor of Greymane, but Dahaka can get some momentum swings with a good grab and turn that over. And yeah, fairly standard opening so far. Kael'thas, always a wave clear monster. Really good for getting these camps down and fast. Takes a little bit longer for Regen setup to get that wave clear, but Kerrigan still can get through it pretty quick once those Ravages start rolling.
Alright, so it looks like I do have that now out into general. And meanwhile, we will see, like you said, 4-man rotation here. Advantage going over to the side of Regen, but we will see actually the nice lockdown there onto Rising Star from that Zol route. Chasing a little bit far in here, Nathan putting himself in trouble. Danks does actually do a nice job of capitalizing along with So Lucky, but the root coming out in return, double root here. So between Boone on the Zol and Geo on the Malfure, they are going to have that double root available to try and isolate the heroes over on the side of Regen.
And skirmishes between these two teams are going to be very interesting. Regen is running some assassins who are very good at burst damage, but very vulnerable when their mobility is locked down. They can dive in, but if they have no way to get out, they can get bursted pretty quick. And on the other side, we have a lot of mobility reducing tools, but also some squishier heroes. So team fights looking to be decided in a snap. Either the CC goes off and a squishy diver gets picked, or the CC doesn't get off and a squishy backliner gets picked.
Prepare yourselves for the slaughter.
All right, we do hear the toll of that very first shrine activating here in the top lane. No real advantage gained so far, but we do see So Lucky maybe looking at trying to invade here along with Murda coming in from the top, but ultimately nice zoning here by Wasted Potential. They will go ahead and get themselves the siege camp, which will be pushing in the mid, but neither team prioritizing the shrine here.
Yeah, both teams going for camps instead, trying to get camps pushing on the board before they think about shrines. Then Genji's trying to go in for some kills. Got a lot of heroes low. If it just a little more damage had come up, we might have seen multiple fatalities from Genji Swift Strikes. But as it is, Wasted Potential just barely manages to get out. They do have to back, which could give Regen some priority on the shrine.
And we will see rotational advantage here from Wasted Potential. They do go ahead and start heading towards the top, but Regen is heading up as well, so won't be too much of an advantage for him here.
Yeah, it looks like we will still have a major engagement over the shrine. Wait, Regen trying to pick up their Merc camp, get a little bit of lane pressure so they have a better angle to get into the shrine. Wasted potential just starting the shrine up now, getting some minions on the board. They do have some pretty quick wave clear to get rid of these minions fast and get this shrine cleared up quickly.
Meanwhile, we do have Hope getting caught out here in the mid. The chase potential and that Arthas slow is going to be enough to get him down here. About a half-level lead advantage here for Regen in the early game, but they are completely giving up this shrine in the top. 33. They are going to rotate in to maybe try and look for some picks here, but very low likelihood that they're actually going to be able to steal this away at this point, but it's not going to stop him from trying here. So Lucky will be able to dash in and finish off the kill onto Nathan. Zol will fall, and the side of Regen finding good picks here early in this game.
Yeah, it was looking unlikely that they'd be able to get the shrine back, but taking out Kael'thas and Zol is a big part of their way to control the shrine. So with good frontline here and good tanking, Rising Star zoning off of the shrine and just making himself a threat here with the Arthas, they may actually be able to swing the shrine over, and it looks like they're going to.
Yeah, very impressive comeback here by Regen. They get themselves a little bit of extra XP out in lane. They're also going to deal a ton of damage to Zengaju, who's going to have to use that burrow charge to get out. They will be able to bait the Punisher over the wall. But this Archaean Punisher, they got to be very careful, as we do see the sidewall taken down, and Regen looking at possibly following up this next Punisher jump.
Yeah, that was getting a little spooky with Zengaju low as it was, the sidewall coming down, Arcane Punisher doing a lot of damage, but he has managed to get healed back up and is relatively safe. The wall will fall, but not much more other than that. About what we expect from a first Punisher, but still very well done.
Yeah, right now both teams performing pretty well. I would say maybe a couple of rotational issues for wasted potential so far, but overall, both teams still staying in this game. About a level lead for Regen. A lot of that in the two cannon towers that were taken in the top lane. But both teams will still be at or very close to level 10 for this next shrine phase.
And Regen looking to make the invade, taking wasted potential shrine or camps away from them. Going to try to control the Merc camp pressure on the board here. Looking like they might rotate to either the bot or left side Merc camps next, but there's going to be a little bit of a scuffle here as they try to get out. Looks like they're not going to try to pursue that though. Just disengage, get back to lanes, get some more Merc pressure on the board.
Yeah, wasted potential, trying to get to force an engage here before the level 10s came in from Regen, but not quite able to get the fight they wanted. Nice invade by Regen. Now the level 10s are in. We see Isolation along with the Army of the Dead, the Flailing Swipe, and the Dragon Strikes coming in for the Genji. But right now, Kerrigan holding that pick. Is there a possibility? Could we see the Ultralisk? No, I didn't think so.
No, it looks like she does go into Maelstrom, but I have to say, I mean, Ultralisk would be an interesting pick here. You know, stick it on Kael'thas and make it something they have to deal with before it eats them alive. Maelstrom's still probably the better option.
Isn't that what they have So Lucky for? As he dives in onto Nathan, and we will see a ton of damage in return, though, as the roots are good from Geo. Level 10s now being achieved for the side of wasted potential, but they aren't able to really utilize them here, as in that choke, completely dominated by the Kerrigan and the Arthas in there.
Yeah, they had a good start to that team fight, locking down the Genji and blowing them up, even though they were lacking the ultis. But even as a 4v5 with the extra player advantage, still not quite enough to overcome the fact that the other team had ultis, and that's just a big disadvantage to play into. They did get theirs halfway through, but just not fast enough to put them out there for value.
And while level 10s, as you said, have been picked up here for wasted potential, we're going to see Phoenix along with the Cursed Mages, the Cursed Bullet, or the Skeletal Mages, I should say, and then we will see Twilight Dream and the Web Rat.
And second shrine is going to be coming up. It looks like we're getting a Mortar Punisher here. This is where the divers on the side of Regen have to be a little more careful. If Kerrigan or Genji goes in a little too deep and an Ubrak decides to pop that cocoon, deeper they are, the easier it is for Wasted Potential to then shove the rest of the team off of that Cocoon and set up a guaranteed pick as it expires. So it could be a dangerous situation. Cocoon also a good counter for the Dragon Blade. Just pop it as Dragon Blade comes up. Gonna see some interesting counterplay in ulti here.
Meanwhile, we do see the camp taken here in the top lane. Wasted Potential going to go ahead and rotate up and clear that out. They will be able to rotate down in time to be able to contest this, but level 13 getting a little bit close here for Regen, so they could look to back out here and try and get that talent tier advantage, and it looks like that is what they are going to do. They send the Genji to bot to soak, and they will let Wasted Potential get a little bit of this shrine while they get their talent tier advantage. But meanwhile, we have a huge engage onto Murda. Does dodge a lot of that with the burrow, actually popping the popping all of the essence that he had there. So will not have a whole lot of survivability if they do decide to force a team fight here.
Yeah, and Dahaka without the essence, especially when you're going into the isolation, can be a little bit of a problem. Takes away some of his tankiness, but he does still have that silence to pop off. Genji going in with the Dragon Blade, looking for some backline picks. Kael'thas might fall, but not before Genji does. But in exchange, they get the Zol on the front line.
Nathan getting so much value out of that level 1 talent. The globes have been completed. Does have the Arcane Barrier to be able to get a little bit of extra survivability, and that does allow him to survive long enough for the Genji to die on that dive, not proccing the resets right away. However, Regen does get the favorable position here. They back up, finish off this Mortar Punisher, and now we're going to see it marching down the mid lane here.
And this will be the second Punisher going over to Regen, giving them a little more structure value, going to get, again, at least the wall here. This time, though, maybe a little bit of fort damage, maybe even the fort itself. Zengaju a little low, gonna be tough for him to try to make an engage here to pull them off of the Immortal. So we'll have to see exactly how this works out. Monster root from Arthas, here's the follow-up, there's some kills on the board. Zul goes down, and the rest of Wasted Potential is gonna have to back off and just let this fort go.
Yeah, the Punisher getting in on that jump. Nice follow-up here for the side of Regen. And I think that's a big difference in how much siege damage they were able to get out here. But the big story, all the while, we have Murda outside soaking the lanes, getting back up some of that essence, and getting very close to level 16 now, as they have a full 2-level lead as they head towards this the next phase of this game.
Yep, and Regen not wasting any time pushing the advantage they have, pivoting down to the bot fort as well, going to get that most of the way down. Retreating now, Wasted Potential coming in to answer the push, but not in time to catch anyone out or pull any kills, and Dahaka pulling the left side Mercamp. Meanwhile, Dahaka and Murda doing a great job here, just constantly getting value while Regen holds the line on a 4v5. It's getting them a lot of advantage in this match. It's a big reason they're ahead on XP, and definitely some excellent Dahaka play and some excellent team play.
Alright, so we do see the camp being taken here in the bot. We are going to see a rotation from Wasted Potential, but they do slow up that rotation a little bit to deal with the wave, and that is going to afford the opportunity needed for Regen to finish off that camp. Now they've got camps pushing in both the bot and mid lane, and Dahaka side soaking in the top. So lots of lane pressure here for Regen, but Dahaka can come down here anytime to force this fight now that they have 16.
Yeah, and you can see Wasted Potential is put in kind of a weird spot. Oh, we have Dragon Blade coming in. Jukes out just before the Twilight Dream, and now they're trying to dive in on Mouth. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Kerrigan going in, gets the Kael'thas, and that might be enough advantage for them to turn and just try to pull this forward after the fight. Nubarak going down too, Genji getting resets.
Very solid play coming out from Regen. Very good understanding of the situation that they were in with that talent tier advantage and the global potential to rotate in, and Murda does a nice job of getting the drag from the backside to be able to really initiate hard there. And the side of Regen looking good here on Infernal Shrines, as they are going to go ahead and siege up a little bit here in the mid, and it looks like they're also going to look to invade and steal away the Shaman camp from the side of Wasted Potential.
Yeah, and Wasted Potential has been kind of in a weird spot most of this match. They can't really, they need to peel somebody off to deal with the Dahaka, you would think, but they can't really afford to peel somebody off to deal with the Dahaka because it leaves the rest of their team vulnerable to the heavy dive that Regen's running. This is pretty much letting Dahaka just run wild in these lanes and continue soaking XP. And it'll be interesting to see how they adapt and try to deal with that situation going forward. Next shrine is coming up in about 5 seconds here. Regen grabbing their shaman camp, and we'll see how this shrine plays out. Maybe this is where Wasted Potential can make a pivot and get back on the board.
Yeah, and of course, we do see level 16 still a full level away here from Wasted Potential. Infernal Shrines is definitely one of those maps that can feel a bit snowbally. It's very hard to actually make a big comeback on this map because the map objective is so predictable. It's so easy to rotate around and take those advantages. And just in general, it's just hard to play from behind here.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to play from behind, and it's also it's always kind of hard to play from behind against a global when you don't have one to answer yourself, just because there's always constant EXP soak coming in, and when you're behind, it's harder. It gets harder and harder to peel somebody off to maintain, even EXP soak against that global.
That said, Wasted Potential does still have all of their keeps. They do have the ability to bait this Punisher over the wall still existing here for this bottom keep. But it is going to end up going down pretty quickly. And Kael'thas is pretty good anti-siege, as we do see, especially with that level 16 soon coming, for probably getting that double flame strike. But ultimately, we do see the wall going down, 17% health on the Punisher, and a very nice defense here by Wasted Potential.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to keep their keep alive. They didn't have to burn any alties keeping the keep alive. At the same time, Regen didn't burn any alties on the offense either, so even in that regard. But all keeps are up, and so long as all keeps are up, as traditional knowledge goes, you're still in the game. It's not until keeps start going down that you start losing your chances of getting back into it, so still a possibility of a swing here for Wasted Potential, especially with that double flame strike coming online.
Yeah, Dahaka does manage to get the bottom fort down in the bot lane, which a very smart move, I think, from the side of Regen. They did not have the talent tier advantage, not wanting to force too hard in the top, and most importantly, it means that no matter where this next shrine was going to spawn, there would be no fort for Wasted Potential to fall back to. So it does indeed spawn in the bot, and now they will have no fort to try to support them.
Yeah, and that's looks like they're going for the invade on the opposing Merc camp. Thinking better of it, pulling back. They're going to deal with the Merc camp pushing in on their keep. They do have significant lane pressure against them in both bot and top lanes, pushing into keeps as we speak. It looks like Regen may even be trying to pressure in a little further and put damage on top keep, finish up with the Punisher started. And just keep this pressure on, keep these lanes pushed out so it's that much harder for Wasted Potential to get in when the Shrine phase does come up and they want to contest.
Regen does see that rotation coming in from Wasted Potential. Nice response time to get up to the top here and defend this keep. But ultimately, right now for Regen, it's just a game of 20. Not very easy to find the XP to rotate out safely, but they are not going to give Wasted Potential the team fight here. This is that's the last thing they want to do. And just as I say that, they do get a bit of a force here over this camp here in mid.
Yeah, it's rough coming in 2 levels down like this and with 20 so close, but this is probably the best fight they're going to get all game, and they are going for it.
Yeah, they get a really, really solid fight here in this chokehold. They are going to get 3, they are going to get 4, and Hope is going to be the only one to live to tell the tale. And unfortunately, that is going to also be level 20s here for Regen, unfortunately for the side of Wasted Potential. They also should be able to rotate up to top here and get a free keep. And then again, soon we will hear there it is, the spawn of that bottom shrine, as that could end up being the win condition that Regen has been looking for here.
Yeah, even if it's not the win condition, you're going to be looking at losing 2 keeps here minimum. Top keep is already going down as we speak. There's really no defense ready for it. Punisher is going to be pushing into bottom with a level 20 team into a level 17 team, so Storm Talent here not online yet for Wasted Potential. That's easily another keep down, if not game.
Yeah, we again see smart macro play coming out from Regen as Tahaka pushes in the bot lane, gets a little bit of that front wall, so it's now just that much more dangerous for the side of Wasted Potential to try and bait that Punisher in. Now they will turn their eyes on the Shrine and looking to make sure that they get this as early as possible, making sure that Wasted Potential has no shot at getting that level 20 anywhere near in time to defend here.
Yeah, an interesting fact I'm seeing looking at the talent tree here. Arthas hasn't even completed the Frozen Waste quest yet, and not because Arthas hasn't been doing what he's supposed to do or hasn't been putting his E up. I think the team fights have just been ending that fast that he's not getting stacks on it. Which, I mean, hey, it's not even really a problem if the team fights are ending that fast. Speaking of team fights, big one breaking out right now.
And speaking of fast team fights, all of a sudden that is another 4 for 1. Yet again, Greymane the only one to live, and that couldn't have come at a worse time here for the side of Wasted Potential. Ultimately, I can see that they felt like they needed to force, they needed to try to do something to turn this game around, but they go in once again, this time without the level 20s, and get completely slaughtered in the Shrine area. And now this is looking more like win condition than keep for the side of Regen.
Yeah, Genji getting a lot of value in that fight off of the Dragon Blade. Kerrigan getting a lot of damage up as well. They just caught him in the choke and utilized a lot of that AoE damage and AoE lockdown to just wipe the fight very quickly. Now they're taking keep and they're going to be marching onto core. And again, only Greymane have to defend like the keep situation earlier. There's just no way for him to stop this from happening. This is going to be GG.
And game number 1 going over decisively to Regen as they abuse that global throughout the game and do a very nice job of getting the team fight potential that they wanted here. I'll give you guys a quick snapshot of the stats. I didn't do a very good job of supplying those for you throughout the game, so we'll take a quick look at those, and then we will quickly back out and go ahead and move on to game number 2. Bring that replay up for you guys here. And I'm looking forward to seeing the possible adjustments here. I'm not actually sure which of these teams picked each map, but we do also have Mura watching in the chat, so I'm sure he would be obliged to give us that info in just a moment. But we'll bring up this replay, and you just let me know when you are in game, Consort.
Will do, and I'm pausing at -35.
All right. So it looks like we are going to be heading to Braxis Holdout. And these teams were good teams and stayed on the same side, which makes me very happy as a caster. Even though we do have this fancy schmancy swap teams button now in the casting overlay tool. Gotta give our lead caster here quite a lot of credit for that. Oh, and I went too far. All right, we are gonna get back to 35.
I have to say the caster tool, I was pretty impressed with it. Just makes things a lot easier setting up the overlay and all that. It's really really neat.
Yeah, huge shout out. I believe 7th Ace was the one who developed that for us. And just an incredible tool for casters. If you guys have not set it up, he's got a very easy YouTube VOD to help you get it rolling in just a handful of minutes. It's no time at all, really, especially for the upside. But either way, it looks like I am ready to go if you are. So you ready to go for this game number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh wait, crap.
Facility powering up.
Oh,
All right,
what's
I'm now at 30. In case you need to stall it for a couple seconds, looks like I false started there. But either way,
I should be good. I'm at -20 now.
all right, looks like we are synced up and ready to go. On the left, your blue team for this match. It is going to be Regen with Danks on the Gul'dan. So Lucky is going to be playing... I actually can't see it from here. It's going to be Vala. Like her skins are so hard to see sometimes. Rising Star is going to be on the Anubarak. Frost Absol is going to be on the Stukov. And up in the top lane here, Murda going to be solo laning on the Greymane.
And on the right side for Wasted Potential, we have Naten on Chromie, Hope on Alarak, Boone on Malthael, Geo on Rhaegar, and Zen Gaju on Muradin.
Alright, so both teams coming out with the 4-1 standard to start this game off. We'll have to see which team is the first to balk and go ahead and send somebody to that solo lane for a gank. But for now, both teams looking for the poke game. Of course, the side of Wasted Potential has quite a lot of poke between the Malthael and the Chromie, of course. Slight, I think, healing advantage for the side of Regen with the Stukov. The Rhaegar still a solid support, but got hit pretty hard by the Nerf bat, and ultimately just doesn't give quite as much sustained healing as the Stukov can.
Yeah, Rhaegar definitely one of the bigger losers from Support Apocalypse a little while ago. But Chromie always an interesting pick on this map. Has a lot of poke potential and a lot of ability to deny that beacon. Not so much able to capture it on her own, but can just kind of keep people off of it with constant Q cast and the ever-present threat of that massive W.
Control them. Please let this work.
Thank you, Murda, for confirming that for us. It was indeed Wasted Potential who picked Braxis here. So you would expect them to, be able to have a good game here and have their strategy. And right away we see both of these beacons being casted here by Wasted Potential. Bit of a force here in the bot lane by Regen, but they are not going to be able to find Paydirt on this beacon. Meanwhile, we will see Murda trying to rotate in here as Hope is going to try and get there in time, but ultimately does not make it. Going to try and hit the combo out to pressure, but Murda is with the pressure far greater here in the top, and we'll be able to push him back and halt the beacon progress for the moment.
And the solo lane going to be an interesting matchup. We even saw right there with the clash between Murda and Hope. Murda was able to get out of the queue by using his own Q to get through it. Got out of Discord Strike by swiping through it to the other side of Hope. But, if that same play goes off and Murda doesn't get quite enough distance, he's going to be eating quite a bit of damage and the silence.
Meanwhile, we will see the pick going over to the side of Regen here as they are able to catch the Malthael out, and now they will be able to capture the beacon in the bot. So both teams trading out these beacons a few times so far. Naten also stepping out a little bit. Gets hit by a couple of these combo damage here by So Lucky. Also barely dodging the combo in return from Naten. So right now it is a positional game here as Greymane falling in the top as Hope making the plays in the solo lane.
Yeah, and that's going to buy them a little bit of time to send some heroes back and get some health in bottom, because they don't necessarily need to have control of the bottom shrine at the moment. They can go back and get some health, come back healthy, and try to get control and finish the rest of this beacon progress. They've also got a slight EXP advantage here. Regen looking to possibly pick up a Merc camp to make up for the pressure they're locking at the moment in the bot lane.
And we will see them forcing the issue here onto the beacon point. And right now it does look like the side of Regen are going to be able to retain this beacon. Wasted Potential has been holding that top beacon for a while, so if they can just get enough advantage here in the bot, it's only 18% away from charging, but right now they are not finding any luck in that department. It's probably mostly due, again, to that healing sustained advantage for the side of Regen.
Yeah, and you gotta be thinking the tanks are a little stressed out here. I mean, they're doing their best to try to gain ground, move up, and control this shrine in bottom, but both teams have a strong spellcaster that can put up damage from quite a ways away. The tanks really can't answer directly, and it's going to be an interesting battle going forward on this. See who can get enough ground to force their spellcasters into a bad spot.
Meanwhile, Boone getting very low, so Malthael will fall once again, but this time Murda rotating from the top lane. So it's going to get a ton of damage, actually almost going into suicide levels of dive there trying to get him, but we'll be able to back out, and Nathan will make it to safety. But once again, the bottom area of this map being completely controlled on the side of Regen.
Yeah, and Nathan, a strong contender for that escape artist commendation on the MVP screen. That's the second time that this Chromie has gotten out with just about 100 HP, so very close calls, but she's getting out and continuing to put up damage.
And that damage, of course, will scale better later into the game. Even went with that level 1 talent to try and stack up that Q a little bit quicker. 28 right now on the stack, so still some progress to be made. But you know, the later this game goes, I think the more it does end up favoring the side of Wasted Potential.
Yeah, getting that Chromie Sandblast stacked, she can start hitting really hard. She gets that extra clone, throwing out the extra Sandblast. Malthael also going into the Black Harvest here. Interesting talent choice. It can be a little difficult to keep that Reaper's Mark up to get the quest completed when you're playing into a strong ranged attacker like Gul'dan. But if it gets done, it can be a significant damage increase.
Level 16, also a huge power spike for Malthael, so Boone definitely hoping that they make it to that late game. But right now, you know, the stalling game is here, as Regen doesn't even seem to be all that interested in capturing that top beacon. You can see right now Murda has the opportunity to try to go get it, but ends up not really getting it. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Wasted Potential already has 82% charge there, as we do see the Muradin falling. And once again, the side of Regen going to be able to shove Wasted Potential back off of this beacon.
Yeah, and this dance for the beacons has been... It's been stalled out for a while. It seems like every time that one team grabs the bottom, the solo lane loses the shrine up top, and so far, Wasted Potential has the advantage with 82% on the shrine, but that could change.
Yeah, but even if Regen charges all 100 of this, they're still going to have to deal with that Zerg wave. So I don't think that Regen is really in any hurry to try and proc this phase. I think they want to try and wait for that level 10, maybe see if they can get an advantage down the road. I think that's very smart shot calling here for the side of Regen.
Yeah, definitely good shot calling on their part. Level 9 is here for Wasted Potential. Chromie does have her ultimate, so that will be one thing that Wasted Potential can look to leverage in return and try to get the last 18% on the board. But only going to be enjoying that advantage for so long, as Regen is winning the race to 10 by a little bit. And then once 10s are on the board, this could turn totally different.
Meanwhile, Nathan, of course, has picked up the ultimate at level 8. It is going to be the Slowing Sands. Very powerful zoning tool here on Braxis Holdout. We saw it earlier used on the beacon, and there's so many chokes to also be able to use it here.
Yeah, and choke points that are relatively consistent throughout the game. Slowing Sands has a slow that gets stronger and stronger the longer it's put out. So when you put it somewhere where you know is going to be a continued point of contest of... What is the word I'm looking for? A continuous point of conflict. Let's go with that. Slowing Sands gets even more value.
Yeah, for sure. We also see some of the quests are starting to be completed on both sides. We do have Danks having completed the corruption stacks off that level 1 talent, so now going to be proccing double of those corruption bombs there to be which is great wave clear tool against the enemy Zerg wave. And we also see 13 regen globes so far for Rising Star. They've been doing a nice job of controlling the beacon device here in the bot to be able to get extra, or the globe device I should say, get extra globes. But Rising Star getting very low. Boone actually electing to go in and pop the Tormented Souls. Rising Star will go ahead and hit him with the web wrap to cancel that out. And for now, both teams will back out having spent a couple of their ultimates.
Yeah, Boone getting into position for an excellent Tormented Souls there. So much so that Panic Ulti started coming out and Horrify burned, both to try to keep him off of the team. That's going to get them a pretty good amount of advantage and get them to be able to finish this Shrine up, this Beacon up possibly. They have the advantage, just a number of ultimates seconds left here. They have the beacon for just a moment. It gets them a little more progress, but still 6% short of the Zerg wave.
So close. If they can recapture just once here, that will be the last that they need to capture it. But for now, Regen continues to pressure here, and Nathan ends up going down. The Ancestral not even close to being in time to hit him there. And we do also see the Haymaker coming out, but that's not going to work, as that's not going to get anywhere near saving him. And once again, Frost Absol doing a nice job of keeping his team at very high health, and they are able to take huge advantage of it here in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that winning that little skirmish there is going to get them that bottom fort. Going to give them better position to try to get the beacons. Gul'dan now going top to assist Greymane and control both beacons. This may be their chance to get Zerg wave pressure equalized going into the Zerg phase.
Yeah, we do see both Go for the Throat and Horrify being utilized there in the top to be able to secure that kill onto the Alarak. But ultimately, it is for a good cause. They get quite a lot of that beacon charged. And now it is going to be a 70% to 94% total. But look at the rotation coming in from Regen. They are looking to backdoor here. They are going to be going directly in onto the Malthael. Pops the Unstoppable on himself. This time the Ancestral is good. Murda getting chopped down very, very low. And we will see Rising Star actually getting isolated out by that Haymaker, finding a lot more pay dirt out of that talent this time around. And they're going to end up with the pick here on Anubarak.
Yeah, and you know, Haymaker commonly considered not to be the better ulti choice for Iridium, but when you've got the Haymaker and you've got Malthael for burning tanks and you've got additional displacement with the Alarak, you can really pull a tank out of position and put significant damage on it, which is what we saw there. Speaking of, Zengoju going in for the attempted pick onto Murda, not quite getting it, but it was close.
It's especially devastating when your frame rate also goes down, but we do see Boone rotating to the bot lane, picking up that beacon, and that will finally be the end of maybe the longest first beacon phase that I've ever seen here on Braxis Holdout. What is this, Battlefield of Eternity? But we do see the Zerg wave coming into top lane, and in the bot lane, of course, the very large Zerg wave from Regen also going to be pressured there, but Malthael will be there to try and clean that up in the bot lane.
Yep, and wasted potential in with their full Zerg wave with the rest of their taking damage onto the fort. Regen mounting a defense, but it's harder to defend when you've got this Chromie constantly poking at you. Alarak and Muradin watching the front line with that CC. They do pull it off though. The fort will survive with about half health.
Yeah, very solid defense coming out here from Regen. So lucky, actually getting poked down pretty low. The chase is on Horrify. Actually going to push members out to the side. Not really the direction I think they were looking for. Nice Haymaker to peel on the other side. Now Rising Star in a little bit of trouble here as the chase is on, but they're not going to chase through that Stukov Lurking Arm. Nice zoning tool there coming out from Frost Absol.
Yep, and now both teams looking to pick up camps, as is the tradition after a Zerg phase, with Regen starting their night camp and starting with the Hellbats. So you probably both rotate and pick up both camps and then figure out what part of the board they want to emphasize going into the neutral laning style phase between beacons.
And it does look like the side of Regen are going to be focused on the top here. Of course, the bottom fort is already gone for the side of Wasted Potential. So they are going to be looking to get more pressure out on the top, possibly focus on the healing well here. But they do have their stronger camp in the bot lane. They also have Mura split out into the bot lane soaking, so they'll get a little bit of extra XP out of that, and they'll be able to push that, push those Hellbats down there. But we do see a nice silence in onto So Lucky, the Ancestral coming in, as well as Malthael also being web wrapped here. They are going to be able to bring him out of that into the silence, and they will pop the Tormented Souls. Rising Star gets Haymakered out into no man's land, but it's actually Chromie that ends up the first to fall in this team fight. Boone also getting very low, and Regen with a huge turnaround here. They are going in after Hope. The charge is going to be there, but ultimately they will be able to make it back to the safety of their structure. A 2-for-0 exchange for Regen.
And that's a pretty significant momentum swing for Regen too, being able to pull 2 for 1 in a 4v5 with another hero soaking the other lane. It's a lot of experience advantage, and they're now leveraging this pressure to take up top fort and push Wasted Potential back just as the beacons are coming up. This could be the point where Regen starts to snowball this one.
Yeah, I talked last game about how Infernal Shrines was one of the more snowbally maps in the game. I may not have made that point so emphatically if I knew we were going to Braxis Holdout on the next game. This is definitely one of the most snowbally maps, because at this point in the game, it can be very hard to stall out these beacon points while the other team has the talent tier advantage. There's no fort for Wasted Potential to rotate to here, and Regen can pretty much just go wherever they want on the map and get these map objective camps at their will.
Yeah, and Regen, even trying to pull the boss camp here, they will get caught just as they're finishing it, but they have enough time to grab the boss. Frost Absolute using the Wild Flail or to push the rest of Wasted Potential out, capture the boss. That's probably going to buy them a full beacon phase. It's going to take a long time for Wasted Potential to deal with that boss, and they can't really afford to send anyone to beacons in time.
Yeah, very scary moment here for the side of Regen. The boss is pushing in the top, and it's going to be soon after that the Zerg wave is going to be also marching down this top lane. All the while, Wasted Potential still 3/4 of a level away from picking up that level 16. They're not even close to it, and they also don't have very good poke potential to deal with this boss. Chromie's got great poke potential to counter siege the heroes, but not so much clear for the boss and the Zerg wave.
Yeah, and man, you don't see this boss come out very often because it's tricky to take, and it's a map where you don't always have the advantage to take it, but when it gets on the board, it does a crazy amount of damage. And speaking of crazy amount of damage, big Horrify, Mirrodin going down, Geo gonna have to move back a little bit to stay safe, and Tormented Souls is popped as a response.
Oh no, man, if level 16 was here, I feel like Boone would have been even more effective than he was there. Still getting a ton of damage out. It is look like it's gonna at least cause Regen to have to step back and regroup. They have no healer, but a ton of damage falling now onto the shields. The shields are down. The core is getting completely ripped apart by the Zerg wave and the boss, and that is going to be it. Game 2 and the series going over to Regen. Domination here on Braxis Holdout.
Yeah, and Regen doing a good job of control of both matches in the set. Took them a little while to getting control of Game 2. Braxis, definitely a strong map for Wasted Potential. They did a very good job of controlling those beacons early on and getting a lot of beacon progress early on, but Regen was able to get a momentum swing later on and bring it back into their favor, especially with that boss. That boss, crazy.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us for this series. And once again, congratulations to Regen for taking the 2-0. And look forward to seeing you guys, hopefully, in future casts. Maybe we'll get to catch you guys live next time. But congratulations on the win. And we'll have this video uploaded to YouTube very soon. And we'll be able to get that VOD for you guys to be able to watch whenever you're ready to go. We have one more replay coming up, but unfortunately, Consort, that's going to be your game, so you're not, unfortunately, not going to be able to join me for that one. But thank you very much for coming out tonight and enjoying a couple of these matches with me. And I hope you come back soon, man. Any shout outs or anything you want to say before we call it a night?
Yeah, I mean, shout outs to all the teams that we casted today. Excellent matches across the board. We saw some really close games, really excellent plays. Shout out to my girlfriend, who again is putting up with me casting in the kitchen and making all kinds of ruckus at this time of night. Shout out to my team, who is we're working on getting some stuff together to get our Division C game a little on track here and start getting some serious wins in. I've got a feeling we're going to be pretty nasty. Going to Div C a little later on. Just got to get locked down. And yeah, I think that about does it. Thanks for letting me come by and co-cast with you again. And yeah, looking forward to cast. Always a blast.
Always a good time hanging out with you, Consort. Thanks again. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out and watching this replay. I will be right back with another replay, which will be FML Esports versus Late Game, though, from the C Division. And I'll be back with that in just a couple of minutes. Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, be right back.